What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Aftersound here, bringing you Splinterlands content every single day. We also stream right here on this channel as well as on Twitch, so make sure you come by and say hello. This video is also brought to you by my music, which is available anywhere you stream music under the name Aftersound, and I do have a new song out recently called Summer Gravity, so check it out. Let me know what you think, and I appreciate the support. All right, guys, I know we've spent a ton of time on just this one post, but I wanted to cover at least one more thing, which I promised I would do when going through it initially, and that was the amount of CP, right, collection power that would be burned for Cinder. Now, again, this is assuming everything sells out, or everything is crafted, and so this whole thing is maxed out when it comes to these land cards. But you can see here that the total amount of Cinder that the team has allocated, or believe that will be allocated for this, is 142.5 million. Now, Cinder is 1.5x the value of collection power. So if you just look at the total amount of collection power that will be burned, it is about 95 million CP. Now, here's the thing. I want to put this in context for you, and this is what this whole video was about. I said I would run in the numbers. If you look at just the Pellicore Bandits, just the regular foil Pellicore Bandits, of which there were roughly 8 million copies that were minted, each at 5 collection power apiece, that's 40 million right there. 40 million just on Pellicore Bandits. So if we burned all of the Pellicore Bandits, I know we've burned a ton, but let's say we were to burn all the Pellicore Bandits, all the Pellicore Conjurers, and all of the, or half of the Pellicore Deceivers out there, that is what would cover just this. Just the amount of Cinder required for this. So there's still a ton of other cards there. I mean, we're talking about less than 2.5 of the common reward cards burned in their entirety. Now, obviously, we're not going to burn that much, and we're not going to burn 1 or 2 of the entire thing, right? My whole point with this is just to show you how many cards there are out there. Like, we could go and burn a significant amount. Like, we could burn 25% across all of the just the common cards, right? Venari Heatsmith, and actually there were even more, right, that came out later. I forgot which ones they were, but the second class that came out and had a bunch more. But I'm not even talking about the rares. I'm not talking about the epics. I'm not talking about the legendaries, right? So your Jin Chihuahuas, your Dampier Infiltrators, right? Your Jin Renovas. Like, there's so many other cards out there that this is going to be literally just a drop in the bucket. It's not going to do much. It's not going to move the needle. And in looking at this, I have to say that I was a little disappointed. Now, I'm not disappointed necessarily like with the team and how they're running this thing, and like it's disappointed in the situation overall, because obviously the team, like, the more Cinder that is required, the higher the cost of these cards go, and you can already hear people in the comments saying like, oh my gosh, these cards are so expensive, the team is benefiting from this, which they're not, right? This is all getting burned for the ecosystem. But my point with this is that, like, man, it really just goes to show that even with the amount of cards and copies of cards that the team is creating with this, there's just so many cards out there. Because I'm talking about 2.5 common cards from the reward set, from the first reward set. There's a second reward set. Oh, and not to mention the entirety of Chaos Legion. Your hardy stonefish is out there, right? So here's the thing, right? Like, there's so many cards out there in the Chaos Legion set, in the Chaos Legion reward set, as well as like 1.7 million unopened Chaos Legion packs. So this is a drop in the bucket. In my opinion, it's not really going to move the needle, which, like I said, it's disappointing just to realize the gravity of this situation, just to realize how terrible the situation is, despite the fact that, the team is trying to overcome it, and that we've burned a lot of cards along the way, even with stuff like, going below burn value and all that. So I look at this as something that, obviously this is going to be a tough situation regardless, but here is the silver lining. If this does end up being successful and this does sell out, it does create opportunities for the team to put in another set at some point in the future, right? Another land set at some point in the future, if there's appetite for it. It also, in my opinion, sets the precedent that future cards can and should be using Cinder, meaning that as we move forward, whether it's promo cards, whether it's mini sets, whether it's even actual core sets, maybe even reward cards, right, to a certain extent, maybe we require those to burn Cinder. Cinder is going to be introduced into the ecosystem, and while it's yet another token, something else that needs to be defended, the thing is similar to Aura. It's only going to be mined if there is value, if there is utility. And so far, with Aura, I know the prices have come down, or the value of Aura has come down, and that's going to wax and wane over time. I believe the same thing is going to happen for Cinder, right? The team is going to find areas in which we can use Cinder, which should slowly eat through that excess that we have in Chaos Legion, as well as hopefully getting more land online, and hopefully with survival mode coming back, some of those cards getting a little bit more utility. But again, we're in this for the long game, so I'm looking at this and it's disappointing to see the lack of impact that it'll probably have now, but we're moving in the right direction, which to me is the most important thing. So let me know your thoughts in the comments below. That is all I have for you guys in this video. Otherwise, I'll catch you all in the next one and see you around the game. Take care.